Morning, good morning. It is Friday. It is the 2022 version of July the 29th, I think. How's everybody doing? I'm doing okay today. Lovely, beautiful day. And here's what we're going to talk about today. We've got 24 hours until the final game of the season, or the pre-season rather, against Roma. Second chance to win a cup this season. We've already got the first one from the Water Toll Trophy. And now we're going to have the next one. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. It's going to be a real spicy game. I believe. Jose Mourinho will not want to lose that one, and hopefully neither will the boys in white. It's a good opportunity for Tottenham to potentially tie up our 7th incoming transfer of the window. A lot of noise about Zaniolo, a lot of noise, right? And obviously the circumstances are probably quite appropriate. Paratici can get together with the Roma chief, see if they can figure out a deal, see if maybe there's a swap deal, cash plus player, some sort of arrangement like that, loan with an obligation to buy, who knows, whatever. Get creative. He's one option. A lot of other noise. The Paqueta deal is also back on, and so my first question to you guys today is: if you do think there's a 7th signing coming in, and we assume that one of the options we're looking at is a creative midfielder, I think that's, or a creative player, forward player, I think that's reasonable. I don't think anyone would say that's unreasonable. Then who would you rather? Paqueta? Would you rather Zaniolo? I think the noise on Memphis Depay has gone quiet. News out from Fabrizio yesterday saying that Tottenham are not interested. There's no interest in Depay, and I don't think he's interested in coming to Spurs anyway. So mutual distaste for the idea, and that's okay. Still a lot of other players that we've always been linked with. James Maddison, different type of players to Zaniolo, but still an interesting one that could offer a lot of options. Morning, guys. Yeah, lots of people. Weston McKennie, again, different type of player again, but still some interest there. Anyway, I'm not going through the all those names again. We're going to do that maybe on the show later if it actually happens today. I think it will happen. Today, I want to talk about this. So the reason I started with Zaniolo was because I feel like the conversation topic is we've had, 9 transfers that have been arranged so far in a month, give or take, from Paratici. He's had a busy month. But we're running out of time for the season opener. We've got nearly all of our ins done. He's done 9, right? The 6 players that have come in: Foster, Perisic, Longley, Jed Spence, Bissouma and Richarlison. He's also organised the departures of 3 players in Troy Parrott. I forgot his name now. I can't think of his name. The other striker, who's 17, was on the bench last season. I can't think of his name. And of course Steven Bergwijn. Now, you could make the argument that there are still 13 potential transfers that need to be wrapped up before the window shuts on September the 1st. And most of those are outgoings, right? So there's probably 2 incomings. One of them would be a forward, either Zaniolo, maybe Paqueta, maybe Maddison, maybe someone like that, whoever. And that would be really interesting. Another option, because 1, 2 injuries or suspensions at the same time to our forward line, especially to key players. And it's definitely the area of the pitch where we have the biggest strength in depth. But like everything, you're only ever 1 injury or 2 injuries away from looking vulnerable. Come on, Bugsy. So that's number 1, right? A forward. Number 2 would be a centre back. And the reason why I think number 2 will be necessary and needed is because number 3 and 4 on the list are the futures of Joe Rodon and Japhet Tanganga, both of which look likely to be, in the short term at least, away from Tottenham Hotspur. Morning, guys. Morning. So Joe Rodon looks like he's super advanced talks. Last I checked. Bugsy! Excuse me, guys, 1 second. You come on. She's there. Joe Rodon looks like he's going to Rennes in Ligue 1, which will be interesting. It's an interesting take. Was it Rennes? Yeah, it was Rennes. And like a loan with an option to buy at 20 million quid. I think that option price is a little bit too high. When you put that kind of option price on there at 20 million, it doesn't make any sense. Like, unless he has an absolute ridiculously good season, which, look, I think there's a lot of talent in Joe Rodon. Just hasn't had a lot of opportunities, and not many managers have fancied him at Spurs, so that's okay. But morning, guys. So 20 million quid as an option. I just don't think anyone's ever going to take the option up. If you put it in at like 12 million or 14 or 13 or something, then you have a chance of it getting done. But at 20 million, you might as well put it at 100 million. I don't think that those options are ever going to be taken. Same that whole Ndombele thing last season, the option to buy him back at 60 or whatever it was. Okay, stick it in there just to make it sound like a progressive deal, but in reality there's not a chance in hell that anyone was ever going to pay that option, take up the option. So Joe Rodon looks like he's going to be gone, which would then leave us with just 2 centre backs in every position. One of those is Japhet Tanganga, who is also looking increasingly likely that his future is away from Tottenham, and this time maybe on a permanent deal. Maybe not. I think it would initially be a loan as well, a loan with a potential obligation to buy, or a loan with a option to buy to AC Milan. Although you might find maybe he could be included maybe in the Roma exchange. I think Roma could do with a centre back as well. So, although did Tanganga play that much under Jose before? I can't remember. I think he did actually. He got his debut under Jose, didn't he? So that's two, right? That's number 3 and 4 is Japhet Tanganga and Joe Rodon. If both of those go, then we're left with only 5 recognised centre backs in Bugsy. Come on, Bubba. In Longley, Davies, Dyer, Romero, and Sanchez. So, you ready? Let's go. So you definitely think then that this number 2 on the list was another centre back. So if 3 and 4 happen, number 2 has to happen. And then after that, you've got the people that we're still stuck with, that we're trying to get rid of, in Harry Winks, in Lo Celso, and Ndombele. So 5, 6 and 7 is just deadwood, and that everything's gone quiet on that front. Lo Celso, I think the Villarreal deal will probably happen, but I think everyone's like Mexican standoff on that one. No one wants to, budge on the asking price or the valuations or whatever. Maybe Pau Torres' future, if it's not at Tottenham, if it isn't also at Villarreal, maybe that money would go towards paying for Lo Celso. But apart from that, don't know if there's other much interest in Lo Celso. Haven't seen too much about it from memory. And then you've got Ndombele, which is just like the worst situation in the world. I don't know what the solution is to that. I've got no idea, because no one wants to pay for him. Nobody wants to take up his salary. He wants to leave but doesn't want to sacrifice his salary. And anywhere that would take him on a loan would end up only paying 10% of his salary anyway. So, you know, you might, if that's how it's going to work, if you're only going to get 20 grand a week back for the next 4 years, 3 years, however long he's got left, then I don't know. You might be better off terminating his contract, but saying, look, I'll cut you out, right? And we'll pay you back your 30 million. But rather than spreading it over the 3 years of your contract, so it costs us that much money, or rather than paying you in one lump sum like you would normally do with a manager, we'll let you go and find another club. We'll fulfill your contract, but we'll do it over a 7-year period or something like that, right? So you can still go and earn money elsewhere, you can still go and play elsewhere at a fee that's reasonable, and we'll still fulfill your contract, but we just don't want to have to pay you 10 million quid a year for the next 3 years, because it's too much and too disruptive to our cash flow. But we will do it 5 million quid a year over the next 6 years or something like that. And maybe that's a solution, because I just don't want to have this headache every year. It's just it's like pulling a band-aid off, a plaster off of a scab really slowly. Like, just get it done, but try and get it done in the least painful way financially as possible, which would be better if you could stretch it out over a longer period of time. And like I say, I think they might be okay with that, because it would allow them to go and get a new club immediately. And Harry Winks, don't know about Harry Winks. Don't know what's going on with Harry Winks, right? Like, lots of clubs apparently were interested in him. Maybe all this interest has given Daniel Levy and Paratici pause for thought on the correct valuation. Maybe they're hanging on to him a little bit longer because of the homegrown thing. Because if you let go of Tanganga and you let go of Harry Winks, then you are one short technically of homegrown, home-trained talent, and that would then make you have to keep hold of someone like Harvey White, or an Alfie Devine or someone like that, who is also on that list of 13, which we're going to come to in a minute. But so maybe the reason why we're not making any movements on Harry Winks is because of, like, just figuring out, that's one of the kind of last ones that they'll get rid of, just in case it all, gets messed up with regard the homegrown stuff. But before we get to those guys, so what did we get to? 7, 8, 9. No, was it 4, 5, 6, 7? So 8 and 9. Morning, how you doing? 8 and 9 are Brian Hill and Pape Matar. Brian Hill, don't know what's going on there. Looks like maybe we're going to move him on to Italy. It's a complicated one as well, He's a player that I think has got a lot of talent. I just don't think he suits the system. Most people that I speak to in the community say his future's probably not with Tottenham, which would put him arguably, if we end up not getting much money back for him, that you could put that up there with one of the biggest flops. When you think about how much money he cost us in reality, 25 million, and whatever value was left in Eric Lamela. That's arguably as big of a flop as Lo Celso. There or thereabouts. But hopefully you'll be able to get some money back on Brian Hill. But again, no one seems to want to buy these players. Everyone just seems to want to loan with options that are never taken up. So we'll have to find out what happens there. And I think that one, you need to get that sorted out soon as well, because there's probably no space for him in the 25-man squad in reality for Europe. So yeah, move him on if you can. But time is ticking, Mr. Paratici. Pape Matar Sarr. We signed him last season. Morning, guys. Signed him last season on a 5-6 year deal. Sent him back on loan to the club that we signed him from. Didn't play for Metz, barely. And I think they got relegated, or they almost got relegated. And morning, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, mate.
And he's come back now. But look, seen him twice in pre-season. Hasn't impressed me. Some people were saying, "Oh, he looks like a good passer. Looks good." Don't know. Thought he was fairly anonymous to me. So I would imagine his future, at least temporarily, lies away from Spurs as well. I don't know whether he could just be put into the under 21 team and then be utilised in that regard. Morning. Or whether there is a different use, a different way you can keep him at the club and play him without taking up a squad number. A squad position. Let me know your thoughts on him. Let me know your thoughts on all of these. But I think he's gone. But that's another bit of homework, another bit of work to do. He's only got 30 days, and if it's taken him 40 odd days or 50 days, I don't know how long has the window been open now? But like, it's been open quite a while, and we've only got 9 deals done. I say only, I think it's still a lot of work. I think 9 is done very well, but there's still potentially 11, 12, 13 names left to figure out the futures of. So 1 and 2 were the in players, right? Let me just go through this with you. 1 and 2 were the attacking midfielder and the defender. Bugsy! Number 3 was Joe Rodon. Number 4 was Japhet Tanganga. Number 5 was Harry Winks. Number 6 was Lo Celso. Number 7 was Ndombele. Number 8 was Brian Hill. Number 9 was Pape Matar Sarr. I think you could throw in Matt Doherty as number 10, because from all accounts now it looks more and more likely that Emerson is, the favourite, I guess, of Conte. And do we need 3 wing backs? Well, I think we need 2 wing backs, but I think we need 1 better than what we have. So, but I don't see that happening. But I do think you might see Doherty get moved on. Come on, Bubba, let's go. So that future needs to be cleared up, whether he's staying or going. That was number 10, wasn't it? Number 11, Serge Reguilon. And that's not an easy one, that's a complicated one. There's chances that he might be going to Barcelona, and maybe there's a player we could get in, but it's not going to be Memphis Depay. But that's still complicated because of the way that the deal was structured in the first place. Like, we essentially paid 30 million for him, but we haven't paid a penny for him. It was like a 3-year loan deal, and the money was owed at the end of the 3 years, which I think is now, or next year. Man, I can't remember. But so if we sell him, does that just mean that we just basically not have to pay any money? If we sell him for the same amount, where's he going to go to? Who wants him? It's all very interesting. I think you'll find buyers for him, but it does look like he's going to be. Oh, right. It does look like he's going to be leaving the club. So that's 11, and then 12 and 13, as I mentioned before, are Alfie Devine and Dane Scarlett was the name of the striker that number 2. Dane Scarlett. Number 12 and 13 is Alfie Devine and Harvey White. Both really talented players. Both, well, at least Harvey White looked good in the 20 odd minutes that we've seen him in the pre-season. And their futures could either be argued that they're better away from Tottenham to get themselves some decent competitive regular first team football in the Championship or in the League One, which would make sense, following in the footsteps of Dane Scarlett and Troy Parrott. But at least with Harvey White, his future may also depend on what happens with Japhet Tanganga and Harry Winks, because if those two both leave the club, then you would need somebody to step up for the homegrown, home-trained quota to be in the squad. And whilst he would unlikely, it's not really a problem because you won't necessarily play them anyway, but just on the off chance that there's a horrendous injury list to everybody in a certain position, and then you have to rely on a Harvey White or that 25th man, you'd rather it not be like a super junior youth team player. You'd rather it be somebody that's on the up and can step up. And I think Harvey White could possibly be that person. So 20 minutes I've been talking to you for. Wow. 13 players' futures still need to be decided. Now, not all of them are going to be decided elsewhere. Some of them will be decided that you can stay, hang around. Which ones of those do you think are the most likely to stay? Which ones of those do you think are the most likely to leave? Do you think it's too much to get done in 32 days? It's a lot, isn't it? It's one transfer every 2 days, 2.5 days, I think. Yeah. That's a lot to get done in 30 days. So it's important. I was very impressed with getting all the work done that we did very early, but as time goes on, you realise there is still so much to do. There's more to do than has already been done. I guess the one upside is that most of the things that we've got to do left are outgoings, not incomings. So we can rest assured that our team are going to be settled, embedded in, and looking good for tomorrow, and hopefully against Southampton in 8 days' time. But Paratici needs to get a wriggle on with the futures of some of these players. Let me know what your thoughts are. Keep an eye out. The show we were supposed to do on Tuesday, that was about the stat reviews of our creative midfielder options, was delayed, and it was supposed to be on today at 6 p.m. I just don't know if it's going to happen. But keep an eye out, hit the notification bell, keep an eye out for that one, see if it's on. And if it is, I'll see you then. If not, I'll see you tomorrow, bright and early, for the preview to the Spurs Roma game over in Israel. Love you all. Like, share and subscribe. And as always, guys, bye-bye. Hello? Say hello to everyone. Hi! I'm Bugsy. What are you saying, Bugs? Who do you think Tottenham are going to sign? No? Don't want to talk anymore?